Hey there, and welcome to Hot Seat. And we are here to explore the reasons of why. What's the why? What's the purpose? What drives business owners to do what they do? If it's what you're looking for, to get motivated, well, we look forward to sharing this episode with you. I'm your host, Kelvin Holiday, and I am enjoying the fact that we can explore people's why and motivate others. So stay tuned for this exciting new episode. 15 minutes, fast paced. Let's do it. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Mate, I am doing sensational. And so I introduced you there as a little bit of a guru on actually understanding the growth process and the government systems. Like for a lot of us, that just sends us loopy. All right. So we'll get, I'm interested in finding out more about that. But let's learn a little bit more about Pat first. You're a Mexicana down there in Victoria. So tell us a little bit about the Pat Grosse story and where things have happened for you in the past.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'm now in Australia, but as you can tell from my accent, there I come from the UK. And I don't know what to say about myself. What would you like to hear?
Oh, mate, well, tell us a bit of history. So what led you to, what's some of the career pathways you've had and that's led you to this, very, very, very unique sort of role and business that you operate?
Okay. It was interesting you mentioned about all things government because back in the 1990s, and really it was like the heyday of the European community, European Union and all the rest of that. I worked in a university in a unit that was actually self-financing. So we weren't academic, but we had to earn our salaries 2 years in advance. And what we did was we promoted the European Union, and how to get money out of it was one of the things that we did. But also that for me, and this is my journey in a way, and you're talking about how governments work. In order to be, out there, the first to be able to offer the services, you have to be able to monitor what's happening. So I would be eagerly, daily, monitoring the pink sheets that came out of Brussels, looking at how a policy development was happening. So you talk about green papers, consultation, then the white paper, and then coming from policy is where all the money comes. It doesn't matter which country you are in the world. That's how this grant system works. And what we used to do was we could tell when the money was coming. So then we would be in there, get some speakers from the European Commission, from the UK equivalent, and practitioners, and we'd be organising conferences and workshops around the UK, and we used to take people to Brussels. Now it was interesting at the time because there was things like Sweden becoming a member of the European Union. I was actually involved in one of those reconnaissance parties with a group of Swedish members of parliament who we took to Brussels, introduced them to the institutions, the fact finding before you then go into the campaign. So that's just one example of some of the things that I was involved in behind the scenes. There was, for instance, in 1992, when Britain had the presidency of the European Commission, we were involved in organising the regional summit, which was the second sort of like important event beyond bringing in the ministers and bringing them together. We brought all the regional mayors of Europe together. And so it's just a couple of examples of the things that I did when I worked in the European field. And so it was sort of like, I came to Australia in 2000, and lo and behold, I found myself working in a hybrid of the Victorian government, and again we were working in the funding space. And for me, that meant that I took great delight in monitoring policy development. Same again, because once the policies were developed, that's when they then developed the the plans, the 5-year plans. And then from those 5-year plans, I would be figuring out, because my role was to build the capability of adult education training providers in Northeast Victoria. So under me, there were 43 organisations that I could assist, and they were all not in the not-for-profit space, and collaborations with TAFE. So I would be there monitoring these new, in fact, it wasn't just me, there were 3 of us in the office, and we would all take delight in monitoring and reading, reading government documents, but being able to interpret where the next opportunities were coming from. And then I was able to then draw down project funding from within and also from external sources, so that we could go out there and train the organizations that we funded to be able to do what they did better, so that they could then take advantage of the funding that was coming. So it was all great. Wow. It was, for me, it was all great fun. So that's sort of, when you talk about being able to read government, what they're doing in the strategy, that's just a little bit of an introduction of, yeah, I've been blessed in 2 different regimes, the European regime and a state government regime, but they're the same.
Yeah, and look, bureaucracy and government's everything up. There's only so many ways you can govern. It can be a dictatorship, or you get into democracy, basically. And these policies, I get it. I spent a bit of time myself. I was a director of CareWorks, which is a Churches of Christ community care sort of project. And one of the keys that I had, a fellow very much similar to you, had the same sort of experiences, told me, and he gave me the tip about, he said, get in and actually have a talk with the policymakers. All right, understand who the policymakers are in your particular area, not necessarily the local minister. And that's what you're saying here. This is like, if people are serious about trying to find funding, it's about building the relationships with the right people, and that's what you've just said. Like, you have the relationship with these bodies of people, and you are training them ready to go when the funding become available. And that is a key piece. And that's a gold nugget, folks. All right. It's about the relationship, get the right relationship with the policymakers. That they can be your best allies. That's for sure. So,
yeah. And the other side of that is if there is if you're coming to the end of a term of a plan, say a 5-year plan, or there's a new initiative coming around. This is not my personal experience here. I'm just putting a supposition in. But we've got the circular economy and this, the climate change stuff, the sustainability practices. Yep. They're all tied within 10-year plans. So there's a federal plan. There's each state has its plan, its own strategy for the next 10 years. So the money's coming down from that, as an example. And when you have these new plans and they come to an end, there's a consultation process before the next plan.
Yes.
So get yourself, if there is an opportunity for consultation, if you don't put your voice out there, and they're looking for ideas, they're looking for something that's different. And I've found a few times I've managed to put ideas into the mix which found their way into the next development. And the same once they have that consultation period. When I was talking about the green paper and the white paper over in Europe, it's a sort of similar process. There's a consultation, there may be a draft, they might test it, then you have the presentation of the new strategy. But then there's a consultation process to how to then roll it out. And so there are opportunities, within that time frame in the process to actually have your say, or to get, as you said, get in the ear of somebody who can have a say. Sometimes they don't consult with you, they might consult with somebody else. Councils are good partners to have, because they're going to find themselves in that consultation process.
Absolutely. And look, that's the experience I had going back a number of years ago, is when New South Wales government started to get out of community housing, and they had this bucket load of houses all over the state. And they literally said to all the different non-profit organizations, they said, look, you guys look after this better. Here's a house. Here's 10 houses. Here's 20, 50, 100. And so that was the rise of one of the bigger housing community groups called Compass Housing. And I was actually in the consultation process with that. And it was quite fascinating And the organisation I work got a pool of funds, and got a couple of houses out of it and everything as well, to be able to leverage that to be able to do it. So it works. Making those relationships and getting in and being a part of it. It might feel like you're actually not getting anywhere, but all of a sudden, bang. So cool, great tip there. And what I've seen here, Pat, is your face lights up when a lot of people go, oh, policy, oh, gee whiz, reading documents. Your face is lighting up with that. So you've got a very unique sort of character that a lot of us don't like to do. And so tell me a little bit how you actually, and where's this passion come from? Is it, I can see it, I see it oozing out of you. So where does it come from? And tell the folks, how excited you are. What spins your wheels?
All right, I'm going to tell you this again. It's the contentious bit. It's the entrepreneur, the community entrepreneur. And no, I don't. Sorry, people. I have close friends who are very much in this space. I do not see the word entrepreneur meaning business startup.
Yeah.
Entre, again, for me, as I've got some basic knowledge of a few languages, French in particular. Entre and prendre, between and to take, does not directly translate back into English.
Yes.
But if you look at it, the essence of, between and taking, it's like this, my personality is that I've always, right from being, you're very young, being able to find those opportunities and do something with them. Yes. And so this is a bit like with the monitoring policies is you know it's going to go in this direction. It's an assurity. What you want to be is out there at the front. You're looking at the opportunity here, and I'm finding the opportunity, entre and prendre, taking the opportunity and linking it over here.
Yes.
So that's the essence of me, is that, to me, the word entrepreneur is more like, and again, business startups, so many business startups are like that. They're finding opportunities, but I'm saying it's not the be all and end all. There's an essence of an entrepreneur, of an entrepreneurial mindset. And I can see that when I've been working with many of and it's not restricted to businesses. I've seen it when I've been out in the community space. Many of those, there's people, we've got that spirit. They've got these brilliant ideas. And it's great to be able to help them on that journey. Now, with them being in the setup of being in that not-for-profit space in many cases, they're surrounded by people who don't necessarily have the skills, because they tend to be volunteers, as in volunteer committees.
Yes.
So, so it's very easy for somebody to, and it's very easy for an organisation to be dominated by the personality and the skills of that one person. Now, if that one person is entrepreneurial, and they move on, the whole organisation can fall apart. So what I like to do is to build the organisation around them, or make sure, so the strategy, the committee, they know the strategic plan all fits. It's not them going off in a direction. They're not bringing the organisation and the community with them, and then for whatever reason they fall off the wheel, and that's it. Everything falls flat again. And even today, I'm seeing that happening. You can have these brilliant ideas. They can make on to win awards, great growth. And then something happens, the key people with the personality move on, or they haven't brought the whole organization with them, and there's internal problems and issues. So, and it all comes back to when I was working in the Victorian government, there was an award. There was a type of award and across the state. And there was one of our funded providers who was actually due to win that award. The problem was we were sort of a bit frustrated in our office, because he was somebody who actually was a typical entrepreneur, in that he had new ideas, seizing the opportunities, etc. But there was nobody behind him with the brush and broom to sweep up. and stuff. That what I meant by that was all the accountability and all the paperwork wasn't done.
Yes.
All the ideas weren't the ideas were great, but there was no substance behind them, no foundation. Yes. And that's where we come in. We want to see that success. This is in my business. We want to see that success. And that's why we put the foundation in place, or help them put the foundation in place. And that organization that was due to win the award that very morning, we actually were able to raise the alarm, because there would have been a problem in the future, and that would have not looked well on anybody. And the nomination was taken aside and somebody else was put in place. But it's simply because they were a great ideas person, but everything around them was built on nothing.
Yeah. Well, Pat, I've known you for some time. We've crossed paths in a number of different networking groups. And I always knew there was something very unique, very special. And what I've enjoyed today is you have your animation, your excitement, your passion, your entrepreneurial spirit, that finding those opportunities and taking those opportunities, all right, truly has come out of the screen here today and come out of this. And I've loved it. And so much so that I know that there is so much more that you can give to the community that we're sharing this in today. And I want to invite you back, maybe not in the hot seat, but definitely take it a next step and actually see how we can actually help some business owners to get their head into this grant space. And then to, what I love to say is unleash some full potential, unleash the awesome of individuals. And you have got a key in your hand to show them how to unleash, how to get that vital funding they need to take those opportunities, turn them into actions, and make them a success. So I'm going to invite you back for one of our masterclasses very, very shortly, folks. So look out for that. Excuse me. Pat, it has been an absolute great one. And I'm sure you're going to drop in some details and everything, how people can get in contact with you, because you've got an amazing website with a whole bunch of resources all about understanding grants. So is there any last little tips you'd like to give the folks here today before we close off?
If you are thinking of applying for a grant, just bearing in mind what I was saying about there being policies and being strategic, strategy plans. It's not about what you want. It's about what you can do, or the service or product can contribute to achieving the results that the funder wants. Because those strategy plans at the high level, the trick is how do they convert them into action? They've got the resources and the financial resources. What they don't have are the people on the ground. And that's where you come in.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Pat, been fantastic, mate. I have loved this session. All right. And as I said, I've worked in this area before, and it is not an easy place to work. All right. It messes with a lot of people's minds, and you take that confusion right away. So thank you very much, Pat, for being here on Hot Seat, mate. We'll have a chat to you again very, very soon. Thanks for joining us here at Hot Seat. It's been an amazing, amazing event. It is a place where you can actually enjoy and be inspired by the why of others, the drive of the purpose and the passion. Please like and share this podcast with as many people as you can to inspire them to make a difference in this world. Have an awesome day. Unleash.